Hey guys, how are you? It looks like some of you were in the chat room just a little early, which is always great to see. So let me just kind of see where we're at here. And then without further ado, we will get going here on tonight's live stream. I'm very excited to be doing this live stream. It's been a while since I've done one of these. So should be a lot of fun. We're going to be, of course, talking about the 992.2 Carrera S, like you can see behind me here on my green screen. But that's what we're going to be talking about as part of tonight's stream. So let's just go ahead and go through what we've got here. What's going on? It has been a while. I've been working on some side projects, which we'll actually be talking about just very briefly. And then I've got some videos that I'll be filming here in the next couple weeks, which I'm pretty excited about. Going to be doing actually a 911 ST video, which very, very excited about that. But I've just been working on some other projects. That's part of the reason you just haven't seen me. So still working on those. To catch some glimpses of my growing up stomping around South OC. Yeah, you would. In terms of that ST video, you'll definitely be seeing some of that. I already kind of have an idea of where I'm going to be going with that car, so you'll definitely see some areas of your old stomping grounds there, Scooter. And then it looks like you've got a 992.1 Carrera S, so congrats. And it looks like it's a CPO, something I always highly recommend. And I love the S and I love the 992. So congrats on that car. John, I appreciate it. I hope I can teach you guys something on tonight's live stream. Looks like Scooter there. Hey, Ron, how are you? It's been a while. Hope your Taycan's doing well. I appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Scooter, 96K there on your Taycan. That is incredible. So happy to hear it. Actually, if you don't mind, if you could maybe put in the chat if you've had any, types of like major problems, because I always get those kind of questions here, especially on the Taycans. That'd be great, Ron. If you could just kind of put your experience in the comment section, maybe that'll help someone if they are thinking about getting a first gen Taycan or even a second gen for that matter. I'm gonna retrofit the SD nose, and your parts guy helped me get the parts correct. Awesome. Happy to hear. And you got a major problem with speeding. I like it. that tends to happen a lot with all of the Porsche cars. Is we do tend to have a lot of issues here with, of course, always going fast. So let me go ahead and pull up my slides that I have prepared for us. And then we will just kind of go over this. And then at the end of it, we will just have a discussion. So let me get this in here. Give me just 1 second. Just trying to get it active here for you guys. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see that. So of course we got the 992.2 Carrera S. That's pretty much what we're going to mostly be talking about. We're also going to be talking about some of the latest sales. What are going to be some of the on sale dates for some of these new 2025 911s and etc. And of course, there's me. I've of course not seen the new 992 Carrera S in person here, but hopefully here in the near future. Now, if you guys are asking me questions, I will get to them after this portion. I'm just not able to see them as part of my live streaming software as the way that I kind of do these Google slides. So I will get to those as soon as I can. So here we go. So we've got the enhancements from 992.1. And what are those going to be? Some of you may already know some of this. We've got the 3-liter flat six. Now we've got 473 horsepower. That's the same as the previous generation that Porsche did. And they've upgraded the turbochargers to be able to get that additional 30 horsepower. And then we have the same amount of torque that we did on the previous generation. And then there we go. We can see that it's been upgraded by doing the turbos and optimizing just some of the cooling to the car itself. The 0 to 60 time has decreased by about 0.2 seconds. This is, of course, under the best conditions, which is going to be launch control. And if you option your Carrera S with sports chrono package, that's still going to be an option. But we do have some more standard equipment that now is on this 2025 Carrera S, which I'm actually pretty excited about. Now, something that's kind of been controversial that I've been hearing ever since the car's been released just about 10 days ago is no manual transmission is available for the Carrera S. I don't know if this will be changing, maybe mid-year, or excuse me, midway through 992.2. It's possible, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Probably going to be keeping just the 8-speed PDK. I would say Porsche's reasoning behind it is they've already got two cars that they believe are incredible that they're currently offering in a manual transmission. One of those being the 911 Carrera T, the other one being the GT3 or GT3 Touring. We're not going to be talking about that too much as part of tonight's live stream, but I believe that's probably part of the reason that Porsche is not offering a manual transmission here on the 992.2 Carrera S. And then we've also got other things, which is going to be the brakes have increased in size. You're going to see it's 408 in the front, and then we've got 380 in the rear. This is derived from the previous generation 911 GTS. So because of the extra power, Porsche had to increase the brake size, of course, to be able to get optimal stopping power. As I've always been told that Porsches are engineered with their braking to be able to stop a car that has twice as much power. I heard that at a training a very long time ago, so that's pretty incredible. Of course, this car has almost got 500. So saying that the brakes on these cars, on this particular car, would be able to stop a car that almost had 1,000 horsepower. So that's very, very impressive. And then we've got PASM, which is going to be from the 911 GTS. It's going to be tuned just a little bit differently, not quite as aggressive as it is on the GTS, which of course is a T hybrid. We're not going to be talking about too much about GTS as part of tonight's live stream. Then you can also get the optional sport suspension, which is going to lower the car down about 10 millimeters. And then also, of course, you'll be able to change up the dampening, whether it's normal, sport, or sport plus. That's going to be this little chassis button there that's going to be right there in the center console that you can change just for a quick key. Now, as we go to more standard equipment over the predecessor, we've got the sport exhaust system with the tailpipes in silver is going to be standard. Before, that was a little over a $3,000 option. And most of the people on the secondary market, if they're looking for a new 911 and they do not see the sport exhaust, they're kind of like, man, what's going on here? So it's nice that now they've made that standard here for 992.2. We've got the sport exhaust. And of course, you can always upgrade it to the black if that's kind of the way that your spec is going. And we've got updated dampeners and hydraulics to improve the ride quality. To be honest, I can tell when I drive the car. You can just tell how much smoother the car is. That's 992.2 Carrera, not the S. But I can tell that they definitely improved the ride quality on this new generation. Then we've got the leather package in black, including front seats, upper part of the dash, and upper door panels in leather. I'll kind of highlight what that is here because we're probably going to end up going through a little bit of a build towards the end of this video, and I'll highlight what that means. But we've got on the upper part of the dash and just kind of the upper parts of the doors are all going to be in leather, which is another nice upgrade from the standard interior that we typically would get as part of the previous generation or here on the 992.1 Carreras. Then we've also got the new 2021 Carrera S wheels, and they've also improved their overall aerodynamics of these new wheels as well. Now, as we're going to this section, you're going to see some GT3s there. We're not going to be getting too much into GT3, but we are going to be talking about what are the on-sale dates and when can we expect these new cars to be arriving here at the stores here in the United States. Of course, if you're in Europe, you're probably going to be getting them significantly earlier because, of course, the car doesn't have to travel almost a month to be able to get here to the United States or in Canada. But we'll just go over what are going to be some of the on-sale dates. So we've got the Carrera T, still yet to see it. It's been launched at least a couple months ago. Car is going to arrive sometime in May of 2025. The EPA still has to do through all their testing. And then for all of you that are in CARB states, I'm in California, that's going to be a whole nother certification. So sometimes they do get delayed. You'll notice, especially for some of the earlier cars that do arrive at the port, sometimes they're held up at the port for a while just because the car doesn't have certification yet. So hopefully the cars will get here and be already certified before they have to sit at any of the ports here in the United States for a little bit. Now we've got the 911S cab, and the coupe is set to arrive May of 2025. So that's actually pretty quick. All of the dealerships here in the United States already should have allocations, most of them being in March is the soonest I've seen. So you do have the ability to already build the new 992.2 Carrera S, either coupe or cab, with an arrival sometime right before summer. And we've got the GTS. Those are still yet to hit the United States. Of course, unless it is some kind of press car or marketing car from Germany, it's not technically road legal quite yet. And we'll be seeing those sometime in March. So just a couple months out, we'll be seeing those here in the near future. I know a lot of us are still anxious to drive them, for all of us that live in the United States or in Canada, to just kind of see how the power delivery is on these new T hybrid cars. And we've got the GT3 Touring is going to be here in May. Excuse me, GT3 and GT3 Touring is sometime in May. Don't know exactly when, but we should be getting those. And that's a pretty exciting car to see. And I'm very excited about some of the updates on that car. Now, as part of the email, if you guys are part of my newsletter, I did send out an email talking about what are we going to be talking about as part of tonight's live stream. And one of those things was going to be, what is some of the sales data for Porsche for 2024? Then, of course, we also covered part of the 911 Carrera S already. But if you guys want to sign up, it'll be at Pcarwhisperer. You can just go right there to the top. It's just as easy as filling in a couple things, and you can just sign up to my free newsletter. It does not cost anything. So what are some of the sales data that we can expect as part of the model year 2024? So this is what we've kind of seen. You can see that for PCNA, that's going to be this left table over here. Only increased sales by about 600 total cars for 2024 opposed to model year 2023. You can see that kind of there in the last quarter, we did really pump out a lot of cars from 19,000 to 22,000. So 3,000 more than they did year over year. And then you can just kind of see how the sales are per model. So you can see that the 911 had a drastic jump here in overall sales data and overall sales. We've got about not quite 3,000 cars here in North America. Then we've also got about just over 1,000 718s, which is great because that car is going to be coming to a close. Car will be going all electric here as part of model year 2026. You can see that the Taycan is significantly down. So I'd like to maybe get your guys' thoughts. Why do you think the Taycan is significantly down from 2023 to 2024 down there in the comments? And we'll discuss that as part of the discussion at the end of this live stream. Same thing with the Panamera. We're down about 300 units. Then we've got the Cayenne is up. Love the new Cayenne, the way it drives. You can definitely feel that new suspension. The car just feels a lot smoother than it used to be. And then in terms of Macan, sales data is down a little bit. We're just looks like about 1,800 cars or so down. So it's pretty interesting. We did have the transition from gas to electric here in the United States. In the EU, they have completely stopped building the internal combustion Macan. So it's pretty interesting how here in the United States we have a lot of different variants: Macan, Macan T, S, GTS, Macan 4, and like several Macan turbos that would have been able to be sold in the United States for last year. Now we've got, of course, the Macan and the Macan 4S are coming. They just haven't hit any of the Porsche dealers here in the United States yet. Now, as part of the total sales data, we've only got about 310,000 cars. So it is down a little bit year over year, about 3% from 2023. This is significantly less than a lot of the other German brands that sells cars. Those guys, BMW, Mercedes, they sell between 2.5 and almost 3 million. So Porsche is still a very, very exclusive brand, and Porsche takes a lot of pride in that and making it a very exclusive brand, as we almost sell just about 10% of the cars that those other German manufacturers do. Dare I say their name again? And then in terms of North America, this includes Canada. Part of the reason you're going to see a difference here, we had 76,167 total cars sold in the United States, and then just about another 10,000 or so cars as all of North America. That would be in Canada. So that's up about 1%. Then we've got the Chinese market declined drastically. So we had about 79,000 sales in 2023. Now we're down to about 56,000 year over year. So that's a 28% decrease. That's drastic. That has played a big part in the overall total sales data. A lot of the other markets for Porsche were up, but the Chinese market was significantly down. So that's what brought the overall sales down just about 3% year over year. So I'd also be curious to see what you guys think. Why would the Chinese sales drop so drastically? I mean, that's a big number. We're talking about 24,000 cars in total. Then we had about 18,278 electric Macans were sold worldwide. And then, of course, we've got there that the gas model was discontinued in Europe. So it's only being sold in other markets, of course, North America. Taycan sales were down significantly as well. You can see that as part of the sales data for North America, but this is worldwide, down about 49%. So that's a drastic decrease from 2023 as well. Then we've got 23,670 718s. Very excited about that. This is the very end, of course, of the 718 model line. So we were up 15%, 24 to 23. So that's a good, healthy number that I like to see. You can see, I get a lot of questions is how rare the 718s are and why you still don't see them. You can see, even though the sales were up drastically in the United States to 5,600, you can still see it's still about a third compared to the 911. So it's crazy how less that Porsche manufactures of the 718 overall compared to the 911s. And there's almost just as many variants. Of course, we don't have the Targa as part of the 718, but we've got the 718, 718T, S. This might have included some GT4s maybe at the very, very end of the run. GT4 RS, 718 Spider RS, and maybe some 718s were in there. But again, those weren't available as model year 2023. And then this is I was pretty shocked by this. CPO sales are up 12%, 43,000 year over year. I'd be curious to see why you guys think that is. I think that maybe just the price of the cars are increasing so drastically. People are electing to maybe go, towards a certified pre-owned car, 1, 2, 3 years old. I know Scooter said he has a 21 911S, an amazing option, especially if it's certified. You may have almost the same amount of warranty remaining as a new car would. Just depends on when the in-service date is. So that's a great option to get. But maybe Scooter, maybe you purchased it new. Actually, I would be very curious to know if you just want to put that in the comments too. We'll go over that here in a little bit. Now, we got the Manthey Racing, our MR kits are now available as well for the GT2 RS and the GT3 RS. We got 20% more downforce on the 3RS, 2,200 pounds at 177. That is crazy. The standard GT3 without the MR kit, we're looking at about 1,850. So that's insane how much more downforce at 177 miles an hour the car has. It has a little bit stiffer spring rates, 30% front, 15% rear. Of course, they have to do that just because of the increased downforce. We got the steel braided brake lines. Car's going to feel a little bit more responsive. So that's a great upgrade. Now, in terms of some of the upgrades for the 2RS, we've got an increase about 2 gallons for the water tank size, magnesium wheels, all saving about 25 pounds. You can see the increase in downforce for the 2RS as well, 108 to 154 and 205 to 440 to 124 miles an hour. And then this can be completed. It has to be a certified Manthey Racing dealer. There's only about 45 of those here in the United States. So you have to go to one of those dealers. If it's not an MR dealer, you cannot install this Manthey Racing kit. And then we've got, what's the pricing? It's going to be available this spring, so it is coming up here soon. We've got $116,000 for the 3RS and $113,000 for the 2RS. So just over the price of a Macan GTS to have this installed. Pretty incredible, especially if you're a big track junkie. Maybe something you might want to add to your car. Of course, that does not include the install. Now, pretty excited about this next slide. It's a blank one. There's going to be a PTS color box up for grabs. It's going to be a yellow PTS box. It has most of the paint to sample colors. This is for model year, I believe it was 2023. And I'm going to have you guys answer a question. The first person to get it right is going to win the PTS box. You have to be anywhere in North America. The details to enter to win, of course, are all going to be down below in the description, but you will have a chance to win this PTS box. If you just want to put the correct answer in the comments section down below, again, first person is going to win this PTS box, and I will get it sent out to you. So name the color of this recommissioned CGT or Carrera GT and win a PTS box. And of course, the rules, again, like I said, are down below. And there's the color. So this is one of the very few recommissioned Carrera GTs. Let's see what you guys think in terms of what this color may be. I will also pop up some other photos here in a second. And it's not this one maybe some people think that was on a 917 as far as a hint. It was not on a 917. Guards Red is one of the first guesses by Planet Fabulous. I like the name. I like the icon you got there of your coffee. Love it. So I can tell you that is unfortunately not correct. So if you guys want to keep guessing and see what you think is this color of this Carrera GT. And Mike is asking a question. For those of you who don't know Mike, he's my colleague, big Porsche buff. You can see he's there in a Porsche. Go ahead and follow his channel as well. It's going to be at Mike Rusnak. And yes, Mike, it is a Porsche color. Let me, Corso, excuse me. Let me give you guys another photo. We're going to pop it up in front. It's a little bit different lighting. Maybe hard to see on the screen. I did not edit this at all. Excuse me. We lost it for a second. Fortunately, that is not it. That's a great question. We got another guess there. That is unfortunately not the color either. So I'll give you guys a couple more hints here. Let me go back to my slideshow. So there we go. It was featured as a 911 color 1974, 1976, 77. Also on a 911 Turbo in 1979. And on a Porsche 928 in 1978. So very rare. If you guys go to the website Renbo, it's going to be four paints, four like paint buckets. That's how rare it is. So it's very, very rare. It's not lava orange. Now this is a very hard question. We'll give it just a couple more minutes. And if I made this question too difficult, unfortunately, then I'm sorry. May have to do another question here as part of the discussion. And so I can give away this paint to sample box. Let's see. That was just a photo of the odometer. I thought it's pretty cool. If you get a complete recommissioned Carrera GT, it's going to go all the way back to 0 miles. At this time, this car only had 112 miles. So that was very, very cool to see this car. Incredible Carrera GT. Had awesome interior. Orient. Clown nose red. I'll just go ahead and give you guys, you know what? Planet Fabulous, you nailed it. Continental orange is the color of this Carrera GT. I have no idea how you got that, but congrats. If you just want to drop me an email so I can get all your details, and I will get you sent over that paint to sample box. So congrats. Great guess. You got it. or you may have known it, but awesome. So yeah, again, if you want to send me an email, it's going to be pcarwhisperer@gmail.com, and then I will get it right out to you as soon as I can. So there's my email right there. So again, love it. All right, let's keep going through our slideshow. Great job. This is just a very short little plug here on my digital guideline book. I've been getting some pretty good feedback on this so far. You guys can check it out. It's at pcarwhisperer.com. I pretty much go through all of the newer 911 models with the exception of the Carrera S. I'm actually working on adding that to the book here as we speak. It's about a 30-page digital guide. That's part of some of the things I've been working on. You haven't seen me. There's a lot of exclusive videos in there, just kind of walking through what are some of the options, what are some of the options I recommend, and exactly how do they work to see if that's something you think that maybe you would want to add to your Porsche 911 build. So that's something I've been working on for quite some time. I'm actually very proud of it. Like again, it's about 30 pages with interactive videos, all kinds of things. And if you want to use the code 911DREAM at checkout, it'll be 20% off. It's the digital guide. So it'll just get emailed straight to you. But yeah, again, I'm going to be adding Carrera S here very, very shortly. I already filmed that video. Just got to get it added to the book. I'm not doing anything with GT3 yet or Turbo S, just because that's the old generation. So it goes 911 Carrera T. It's going to have S here shortly, as well as the 911 GTS. Do talk a little bit about European delivery and some other things in there. So let's go and have the discussion. I want to catch up to some of these comments that you guys had left. Just because I wasn't able to see it from that other screen. So let's see what we've got here. See, I got quite a few that I got to get caught up on. So thank you for everyone that has joined me as part of this live stream. Always appreciate it that you guys are joining me on these live streams. So let's get caught up here. Major problem speeding. He loves to hear. SPD Racer likes that. Ron's got a 96K on his Taycan. So do I. Okay, what's the launch color for the Carrera S? That's a great question. So most of the marketing material you're going to see has this color right here, which looks to be like an ice gray metallic. So that seems to be kind of the launch color for, oops, sorry, you guys can't see that. That seems to be the new kind of launch color here as of late for the new 992 Carrera S. So you'll see that it's just going to be right there. Okay. It just looks like Ron had some charging issues early on. I went up to 280. That took all to resolve. Was solid for years. Great. 92.2 Carrera S Turbo S coming out. Great question. I would imagine it's probably going to get released at the very end of this year, maybe third or fourth quarter for a model year 2026. That is what I believe is probably going to happen. I think they're probably pretty much on track for that, to be honest with you. So yeah, again, we probably got about 6-7 months until that car comes out or officially gets launched, and that will be a model year 2026. Of course, things are subject to change, but that's what I believe is going to happen. Surround view camera issue took but found the perfect. Great to hear, Ron. That's great. So you're still having awesome charging statistics on your Taycan even after 96,000 miles. So great to hear. Planet Fabulous, thank you. Appreciate it. And again, congrats on winning that paint to sample box. The car's amazing as long as you don't plan to change it out or if you could find a good lease. So that's kind of going back to maybe why the sales were down for the Taycan. Of course, it's an incredible car. We have found that values have dropped pretty significantly, especially over the first couple of years. So to kind of protect yourself, it's either if you plan on keeping the car a very, very long time. Of course, we've got the option to just buy and hold it for a long time, and maybe you won't care about the value as much. Or you can always lease the car. That'll kind of help us protect us against the value of the car. I think maybe some people, like to change their Taycans pretty quickly, and they decided, you know what, I'm going to purchase it, and they didn't lease, and then all of a sudden the overall residual value or the end value when they decided they wanted to trade the car in dropped drastically. And then people were kind of upside down on their Taycans just because a lot of the technology is just changing so quickly. So that could be part of the reason that Taycan sales have been down. We got that. Planet Fabulous. We're talking about the EV Macan. I'll bet they update the ICE Macan soon. Wouldn't be surprised. I think Porsche, to be honest, is a little bit worried about some of these electric Macan sales so far. It is selling and it's doing well. The car drives incredibly, but I think because people had such a bad maybe taste in their mouth with the Taycan, it has kind of hurt the Macan EV sales just a little bit. Of course, if you're in Europe, you have no choice. You're pretty much just going to be getting only electric, but here we still have a choice, which is great. No one's going to buy an EV 718. Porsche will backtrack on EV transition plans for future. I think that's kind of what's happening. I was kind of going hand in hand with my last comment. So it's pretty interesting. Mike said maybe EV technology is advancing so fast that cars can't maintain its value. That's exactly it. That they are having, trouble holding values. Guards red. Okay, this was for that Continental Orange Carrera GT recommission. In terms of a gas car, I think Porsche Ferdinand's just very expensive. Yeah, that's great. Only 2 hours behind. That's incredible. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Do I need to upgrade 992.2 from 991? No, I don't think so, Gavin. That's a great question. If you've already got a 992.1, if you really want the extra power, of course, you could always chip the car and you could easily get the extra 30 horsepower, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Of course, if you like the full digital dash or you want to have maybe a little bit enhanced suspension, maybe that's great. Or maybe you want to do HD matrix headlights or something like that. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary, to be honest with you. A lot of us, I believe, like the analog TAC as part of the instrument cluster, and we've kind of lost that. I have driven quite a few 992.2 Carreras with sport exhaust, and to be honest, I don't know if they just haven't been broken in yet, but they don't sound quite as loud as the 992.1s do with the sport exhaust, where you just kind of really hear the burbles as soon as you're off the accelerator pedal. So I don't think it's necessary. If you've got a 992.1, maybe you just wait until the new generation, maybe in 3 years or something like that. Unless you really, really like some of those updates that the car has, then, maybe something I would recommend. I have a Chalk 2022 Cayman GTS 4.0 and a fully manual, fully optioned, bought in October 2021 now with almost still Cayman miles. Any chance it could be a future collectible? What should I keep the mileage to? Great question. If Porsche still decides to go with the electric route, I highly believe it probably will be a collectible. GTS 4.0s, GT4s, Spider RSs do tend to hold their value incredibly well. So especially being manual. So I would say so. I think, your car you bought new in October 21, it's a 22. I think you're doing fine in terms of miles. I like that people enjoy their cars, and don't, try to limit the miles too much. Usually, 60, 70, 80,000 miles, the value may start to go down a little bit. But, it looks like at your rate, you probably wouldn't have anything close to that, in the next 6 years, maybe 7 years, something like that. So I do believe it will be a future collectible, being manual and having that flat six, naturally aspirated. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, but probably something probably somewhere I would try to keep the mileage under, and being a manual and that flat six, I highly believe it'll be a collectible. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and throw them there in the comments, and I will try to answer as many questions as I can, or we can just have discussions. I want this to be as beneficial to you guys as it is to me. What do we got here? 992.1 manual S pre-owned values to hold steady, possibly even increase, given that there's currently no manual option. I wouldn't be surprised if they probably hold very steadily, especially if Porsche doesn't come out with the manual option, in the next year or two. I think they'll do very, very well, manual 992.1 cars. So I think you're probably spot on there. Even non-manual cars, a lot of dealerships, are almost paying close to MSRP to try to just buy the cars and acquire them back again. Maybe a year or two old. So being manual to me, as a kind of a Porsche purist, I think that's something that is going to be be a big time collectible. Over the next could be 5-6 years, especially if we continue to go this electric route, which seems like a lot of Porsche people are speaking. They love the electrics in terms of Taycan and Macan, but they may not as much for a 911. So it'll be very interesting to see how things play out. And then if you guys, of course, again, if you have any other questions, just throw them down there. There we go. Lots of 2021 PDK cars selling at MSRP. I'm actually going to let you guys, if you've maybe followed me on a live stream before, I'm going to show you guys a website that I love to follow a lot of car markets on. Let me show you that real quick, and then we'll get back to the questions. So this is a website. If you guys have never seen it, it's called classic.com. Love this website. We can track a lot of different markets, kind of goes across all different areas of the world. So if we could go 911 Carrera, search that, it's going to give us different markets. If you click on this see more markets, you can see what all the current markets are. So for example, of course, we've got 2019 and 2024. This also does in Europe as well. So that's part of the reason the years may be a little bit different than some of you are used to seeing here in the United States. But that car was offered in very late 2019 in Europe. So for example, let's say we just did Carrera S. We can come in here and see all the sales data. Doesn't have every single sale, but it has a lot of them. So for example, I want to see from June until now. You can see kind of what, some of these cars are selling for. Of course, this looks like a PTS car, but you can just kind of see where the market is falling. I mean, we've got a 2020 Carrera S here at Gaudin Porsche in Las Vegas for 124. So that's pretty incredible. So it's like pretty nuts. I mean, in terms of what these cars are doing, but this is a very, very useful tool that you guys can use. You can just see what the average is, what the total sales are, what the average volume. And again, it kind of pulls data from everywhere. It's a very good tool that I love to use. If I'm trying to see kind of what the market is on certain cars, I love it. Okay, Mason, I have a sort unrelated question. Where can I buy Porsche OEM washer fluid? Is it even possible to buy? My dealership never carries it in stock, and they just fill it up for me when needed. Good question. So what Porsche does more often than not nowadays is there's going to be a solution that you can get. I don't remember how many ounces it is, but it's like a small little solution. It's green. And what they do is they mix that in with water. And they put it into your washer fluid. So that would be the Porsche's version of OEM washer fluid. You just have to ask for the little, it's more like a concentrated washer fluid that you end up mixing in there with water. So they do sell it. Let me see, Porsche concentration washer. Show what it looks like here. This is exactly what it is. So this is what it looks like. So this is the concentration that every single Porsche store should be using, is this. And if you need the part number, it's going to be right here. So if you give this to any Porsche store, you'll be able to give this to them. And I just pop that up in the comments section for you. So let's see, any idea when the 92.2 Carrera 4 will come out? I wouldn't be surprised, John, if it's, right behind this car, maybe in the next couple months. I'm sure that they'll probably launch the Carrera 4 and 4S. Mike, do you think they'll give it a manual option for 992? Maybe. I'm trying to think if they did that last generation. 992.1, they had both of them launched at the same time. It's possible. I think Porsche loves to listen to a lot of their they really like to listen to a lot of their customers. So if customers are calling for a manual, maybe they'll end up adding it. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. PDLS headlights in the US. Great question, Ron. Are you just asking about in terms of making them fully functional? If that's the case, I haven't heard anything yet, but I know that I think there's a company out there that will actually, if you have, let's say, PDLS plus headlights or LED matrix headlights or anything of that sort, that you can program them to be almost like a European car and get the full functionality. But from any Porsche dealership or anybody at Porsche, I do not know of us being able to program them through Porsche. There's a lot of incredible things that they can do, but well, yeah, just unfortunately we still don't have them. Gavin, great question. I'm in Scotland, so no real hot, extreme or hot. Or you can. If you're leaving it outside, and you're not driving it that much, I would try to hook it up to a battery tender if you can. And I would also try to get a Porsche car cover. There's a lot of really nice car covers out there. I think that'll really help kind of preserve the car, like not only on the inside, just from the sun, but also, some extreme weather that maybe you could get if it does end up getting, every now and then really, really cold. It doesn't sound like it does too much in Scotland, but I would probably say yes, and I would probably just put it on a cover, but make sure you clean it first, just because you don't like want to get any scratches or anything on the paint. But I pretty successfully, with my dad and we did a very good job in preserving my Cayman. It was outside for almost, 7 or 8 years. And he did an incredible job keeping it up and running. So we had it on a battery tender, a couple different car covers. There was mouse bait underneath the car just to be safe. There was also some stuff on the inside called damp red, because that car was actually sitting in Seattle for quite some time. And that really helps take any moisture out of the air, just in case if the car sits for months and months and maybe it does rain. I'm pretty sure it rains, I would say maybe a decent amount in Scotland. But of course, correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, I would say, of course, you can. Okay, concentrate. Hopefully that helped, Planet Fabulous. You're welcome. Model updates for 2026. Great question. We usually kind of get it, probably September-ish time. That's usually when I tend to make these videos. Those tend to be very, very popular videos. That's when we tend to get the updates for the next model year. So I'd say, probably September or so. 2022 Chalk Cayenne Turbo, less than 24,000 miles. No turbo offered now, only hybrid worth keeping. Think it'll increase in value. I want a new turbo, but still not wanting hybrid. Great question. That's actually a really good question. Turbos and GTSs on Cayennes do tend to hold their value very, very well. I'd probably try to hold on to it if you can. I don't know if in the long run that car will hold its value, super well. If you don't like the hybrid, I'd maybe suggest going to the new GTS, if you're willing to do that. But I would say it probably will hold a decent value, I would say, with less than 24,000 miles. But I don't know if it'll increase in value based on where it's at. Of course, maybe, in 25 years or something, maybe it would end up going up. But I think in the short term, I don't think it'll increase. I think it will probably, just slowly decline up until it hits a bottom point and then maybe starts to go back up again. But I'd probably recommend really looking at a Cayenne GTS if you're open to it and you do not want the hybrid for the new car. I will share that to you, Ron. Sounds like you end up having to go. 2S or 4S, great question. I'd probably go, unless you're in, like climates where it's very, very cold. I'd probably just go 2S. I like the way 2S's drive. I like to get them, especially if you go, at a corner pretty quick, you can kind of kick them sideways a little bit. So I do tend to like maybe a 2S more than a 4S. Of course, 4S will grip a little bit better, but I do tend to like the classic Porsche 911, and that is rear wheel drive. Let me see if I can get this. Um, Sorry, guys. Just want to see if I can get that information for Ron on how to get these PDLS lights programmed. If I don't find it, then I'll just probably put it in the comments after this live stream. I don't know if I can find it right off the top of my head. You're very welcome. I hope that was helpful in terms of your Cayenne. Let's see. Doesn't look like I'm able to find it, unfortunately. So I'll have to leave off. What was the launch color of the new 2S? You know, it looks like, I'm going to be honest with you, it does look like it is GT silver. That does look like the new launch color. Sometimes in this lighting, it looks like ice gray, but yes, I would say it looks like it is GT silver. You're welcome. I hope this was helpful. Again, if anybody else, I'll probably stay on here for about another 15 minutes or so. If you guys want to put any other, comments down below, I love interacting with you guys and trying to help you out as much as I can. So if you just want to put more comments in there, or if you want, I can certainly try to go through, do a quick build. Gavin, you're welcome. Of course. If there's anything else you guys wanted me to cover, again, I can certainly do that. Great to hear. I want to do these more often. I know I've been saying that for a little bit of time. I want to try to do these, once a month if possible, just because I feel like it's a good way for us all to connect. Is do these live streams. I've been incredibly busy here as of late, but what was the link to see digital guide? Great question. I will put the question to the digital guide. Put it down here in the comments. I worked on this project for what felt like months and months and months and months and months. So I'm very, very happy that so far I've been getting some really good feedback on it. But the link is going to be right down here. Hopefully you can click on that. And then, of course, if you do use the code 911DREAM, that's going to be at checkout, you will get an additional 20% off. So thank you guys for following me. You know what? We do have a little bit of time. If you want, I did put a full video in that guideline book. So check that out. If you want, actually, I do a full build on all the cars, but I will run through one just real quick here with you guys if you'd like. As part of thanking you guys for following me on this live stream, but let's go ahead and do one real fast. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go there real quick. Okay, let's do the Carrera S, just because I don't have that on the guideline book yet. I have filmed that video, but like I said, I have not actually put it in the book yet. Let's see. Mike, I appreciate it. Thank you. Actually, Mike, if you guys have seen the video, he is the one who's in my marketing video for this book. He's helped me out a lot. He's given me a lot of good tips. And then we actually are, while we're on that boat, before we get into that build, him and I are working on another project that we're very, very excited about. So I'm going to try to film as many videos as I can in the meantime. But we are working on a project. We do have a couple of deadlines. One is to get kind of the base part of the project out by the end of this month. So we'll probably have a tangible product for you guys, I would hope, by May or June is kind of our timeline. But we're working on something that we're actually very, very excited about. It is free. So just if you guys want to stay tuned to that, I'm probably going to be making some videos here on my channel talking about a little bit kind of behind the scenes of maybe a little bit what we're working on. I'm not going to give away all the tea on it, but just kind of show you guys maybe a little bit about what's going on. And I think Mike has said as well, he's going to do kind of his portion on his channel as well. So I'm going to be working on certain aspects of this product we're working on, and he's working on other aspects. We're going to be kind of coming together to build this product that we came up with. And we are very incredibly excited. And again, it's going to be a free download, which is even going to be cooler. So curious on insulated glass. Are slick tops no sunroofs desirable on pre-owned 992s, and do they tend to sit on a lot? I find when I build a car that I really, really like to have no sunroof. I feel like sunroof is the biggest thing everybody says they want, but they don't end up really using it that often. Maybe they do a little bit more in 911s than they do on like Macans or Cayennes, but definitely something I would say is not necessary. People think they need it, but a lot of times I find that people don't use it. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but something that I would say I love. If I see a car, manual seats, no sunroof, I'm pretty hyped on, to be honest with you. So without further ado, let's hop into this. I'm not going to do a full build video for you guys, but I will just kind of run through a couple of the options you guys had questions about. So here we are. We're going to go to the Carrera S. This is the US car configurator. I do cover some of the other configurators in that guideline book. So we've got that. But let's go ahead and go through what some of these options are going to be. We were asking about what's the launch color. There's our GT Silver. We're not going to get too much into the wheels. However, I may change the color here real quick. We'll do a satin black. Now, I did actually talk about this earlier. What does this leather package in black include? This dash portion here is going to be all leather, and the upper parts of the doors are going to be leather. You can see the really nice stitching. This is a great option that is now standard for the Carrera S. I do find if you're getting like a Carrera S or anything, the lower parts are still the same as the standard interior. So you're going to have kind of like a synthetic there on the doors, kind of by the glove box, all that section. To be honest, sometimes looks a little funny. You got the full leather and then kind of goes to like a synthetic. So I don't tend to like that mix, even though, again, it is a nice upgrade and is now standard here on the new 992.2 Carrera S. I tend to like the full leather interior. You can see it's going to be very small, but right here, you're going to see how this entire section is going to change to leather, along with down here when you go to leather interior. Now you can see this really, really nice stitching along those lines. So something I probably look at adding is one of these full leather interiors. That standard, just that leather package, not so much. I'm not going to do a package here. I do get questions about the rear seats. They are an option. Maybe unless you have a kid, it's all adults are going to have a hard time kind of fitting in the front, or excuse me, in the back of a 911. Seats, I go over all these seats in the guideline book, what I recommend, what are the differences between all these seats, 14-way, 18-way. Again, there's a video in that guideline book that kind of goes through everything. Premium package, adaptive cruise, Bose, ventilated seats, surround view. I do tend to like surround view for those of you who are in Europe. The standard backup camera, to be honest with you, is not that great. So if I was not adding a package, I would definitely do surround view. Then we've also got the one with remote park assist. Again, I go through those options in that guideline book. We had a question about the thermally and noise insulated glass. So let's go over that real quick. Can't remember where it's at in the configurator, so give me 1 second. Let's search. Here it is right here. Lightweight and noise insulated glass. I do, excuse me, not thermally insulated. I like the lightweight aspect of it. The noise, to be honest, you can't sometimes hear it quite as much, of course, because it does have a little bit more insulated glass. I probably would not get it, to be honest with you. I'd probably stay away from this option a little bit. So my only concern about it is from an after sale perspective is if you get this lightweight and noise insulated glass, it's very similar to what you're going to get on like a 911 Carrera T, GT3 RS. I love it, but I have seen this glass here as of late been cracking. It's it's a lot lighter weight, so there is that part of it, that is a little bit a little scary. Like you don't want to come out to your 911 and have a cracked piece of glass. I've seen it again, like on the GT3 RSs and whatnot. So if you and again, this isn't across the whole board. Maybe something you would like to add. If I was building a car, I probably would not add it, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't add the lightweight and noise insulated glass. Some people may find benefit. They like it. But here's your overview. 8 pounds. You are going to save weight. But again, it's going to minimize the external noises such as tire and wind. Also a little bit of the exhaust note. So I tend to like a really, really raw car, to be honest with you. And I like to hear tire and wind, all that kind of stuff. That kind of makes for a very raw experience. But, some of you don't like that. So maybe you would like to add this. But again, if I was building it, probably not something I would add. Okay, let's kind of continue on. Packages, sport designs, aero kits. I go over this a little bit in the guideline book. Under-door puddle light projector, something I usually like to do. Exclusive design fuel cap, tend to be a big sucker for. Here's the sunroof. We've got the glass, and we've got the painted one. This one, you're going to have a shade that you can open and close. I'm not going to do that as part of the build right now. I do tend to like to change the back. Carrera S, sometimes I don't like to change it as much. But if we're doing a black wheels, sometimes I like to get rid of it, completely get rid of the 911 portion there on the back. Or I like to do model designation or 911, maybe just in black. Makes it look very clean. You can see it's right there. And then we've also got the Porsche logo in black as well. Another option I tend to like that I do cover. Again, I keep doing these shameless plugs in my book, but you guys can check it out. Exclusive design light. You can see how that really looks really well there in the back. For some reason, the wheels got changed. So let's go back. I do tend to like the satin. Okay. Let me come back here. Sorry, I haven't been able to see your guys' comments if you had any. Last for cars had one. I never opened them. There we go. If I was doing this card, I probably wouldn't do window trim. Okay. We already went through some of the decals. HD matrix headlights. I talked about these on the car configurator. Or excuse me, on my guideline book. Let's go ahead and throw them on there. Interior packages. We got all kinds of stitching. 930. I'm trying to think if there's any other must-have options. I like the Porsche crest on the headrest. Colored seat belts for a spec like this may look nice. You got the red brakes. Now you can do the red. Oops. That's not good. You can do the red belt. Okay. Steering wheel got GT. Okay, let's see what else. Just want to see if you guys have any other questions on any of these other options, roof lining and race text. I do tend to like the carbon fiber, so I'd probably do carbon fiber interior as well. There we go. Okay. A lot of other little options. Lane change assist. Adaptive cruise. Okay. Porsche dash cam. And then, of course, again, I talk about that is the bows. Let's see if you guys have any other questions. Sports chrono. Yep, that's another good one. Let's do this. This will help me kind of shortcut everything. Sports chrono is another must for me. The sports chrono package. There's our sports chrono, part of our sports chrono all right there. You know what? I think I skipped the performance section, so let's do that real quick. I did. Sport exhaust, like I said, was standard. So in this case, I'd go black. Already got the black. That power steering plus, extended range fuel tank. So that's just kind of a quick overview. I do talk about front axle lift on the guideline book. That's just kind of a quick run through. Let's see if you guys have any other questions. Ionizer. I like that. Ionizer. Don't think it's necessary. It's nice, but I don't think it's necessary. It's going to be right in here. You know what? Let's see here. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you have any other questions, of course, you can always send me an email. I really appreciate you getting my digital book. Hopefully it helps. Again, I have, you'll see in there, I know you already got it, but it's Carrera T, GTS, and GT, and S will be coming soon. So I'm also working on, besides the projects that me and Mike are working on, also working on making some more guideline books. I want to do some after sale guideline books as well, and maybe some other ones such as Macan. Actually, if you guys maybe, I'd like to get your feedback real quick. What other guideline books would you like to see that you find would be helpful? Right now in my head, I'm doing some early water cooled stuff. I'm doing I'm working on a Macan one right now, gas and electric. So I'd be kind of curious to see what you guys think about that as well. So maybe go ahead and just, if you don't mind, looks like there's 24 of us here on this live stream. If you guys maybe don't mind just giving me some feedback as to maybe what books I should be working on, or maybe what you guys would find helpful in a guideline book for more products that I'm just trying to work on. I'm just trying to kind of consolidate everything into these books, make them very simple and easy to read, and be able to pick out the options and then go through what are those options and how do they work and see if they'll be beneficial to you. So that's kind of the gist of the book for those of you who haven't seen my book yet. But that's I kind of wanted to launch it with 9/11 and then work on some other books. So again, if you guys maybe don't mind just putting your ideas, I know we're maybe past time. I have all night, so I could be here, for a while. But if you don't mind just putting those in the comments. Porsche Crest, yes, Gavin, that's a great option. That's awesome. That's awesome feedback. I'm actually working on that. The guideline book that you just got, which again, thank you, is kind of every step before you get your car, ordering the car, and then I'm going to work on a separate book. It's going to be kind of an after sales book, maintenance, things like things to look out for. I'm trying to think about what else I was putting in that book. How like the PCM works, kind of a complete tutorial of how to set up your car. things I've seen on the cars that maybe I'd recommend doing, to kind of help preserve them. We were talking a little bit about that for outside cars. So that was going to be kind of the section of the next guideline book. It's probably not going to be, quite as long as 30 pages, maybe, 15, 20 at most. But that is something I am working on, because I want to, have people that maybe think that they want to build a car, and then if they decide that they build a car and end up getting a car, what would they do, kind of after the fact. So my goal is to end up having a big kind of library just to help everyone with a bunch of digital books. And then of course, still make YouTube videos as much as I can. It's just this project is taking a lot of my time, and I really enjoy doing it because I love sharing the Porsche passion. PPF, that's another good thing. I'm actually going to add that. So thank you. Gavin, that's a great question. I would advise doing it if you can every 10,000 miles. Um, I I I didn't know that it was every 20,000 in Europe until God, I mean, this was probably 2017. There was a guy that came all the way from Germany, worked for Porsche Classic, and came in and said it was every 20, and we were all shocked. Now, of course, they do recommend it, but I don't know. I think I would probably just try to keep it every 10 if you can. 20 to me, I know the oil is synthetic. Mobile One, it's great. But yeah, I think 20,000 miles is too long in my opinion. And like you said, that is what Porsche recommends in the UK and pretty much all over Europe. But I would really try to do every 10 if you can. 5K is even better. Kind of the old school of thought would be every 3 to 5,000 miles. Um, so I would say max 10. That's a great question as well. That's a good thing to add to this book. Um, but I will tell you right now. So the break-in period. I try to keep the car for the first 1,000 miles under about 4,500 or 4,000 RPMs. That's typically what I tend to recommend. If you go above that, everything's going to be fine. They are, tested at the factory. But I personally would try to keep it under the 5,000 RPM rev range for about 1,000 miles. After that, I would say you're pretty much home free. But that's what I did when I had a Macan. I did the same thing. I do try to keep them under that, just to help everything, kind of seat and get. Um, Sorry, guys, I don't know if my microphone's working. Into, just kind of get into like their wear pattern in terms of everything inside of the engine, camshaft, crankshafts, all that kind of stuff. So again, that's what I'd recommend. I've seen people not follow those rules and still be fine, but if you plan on keeping the car long term, that's something I would do. If you guys have any other questions, don't mind just maybe throwing them up there. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you guys got something out of this live stream, because that's always the goal, is to always share the Porsche passion. If I can learn something, awesome. If you guys can learn something, even better. So we still have about 19 people here on the live stream. So thank you guys all for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to discuss, anything, whether it's any Porsche car, the sales data we went over, anything here on the configurator, again, I still have it up. Anything GT3, actually, that actually brings me back to another point. Break-ins for GT3s are about 1,000 miles as well. They say the same thing. They, when you start a GT3, the newer ones, they're actually going to say observe run-in period, and then it's going to tell you how many miles until the car is done with its break-in period. So that's something that all the GT cars will actually have, and you'll see when you actually start the car. Thank you. And again, if you have any questions, send me an email. And I appreciate your support on the book as well. So thank you very much. And I hope it helps you build your Dream 911. If that's about it, I'm not seeing any other questions come through, then I'm going to end this live stream. Again, if you guys have any other questions, you can always visit. How long will the battery last on 992 if not being used? Would a month standing be safe? Yeah, I would say so. That'll, this is another thing for this after sale guide. So thank you. Anything longer than that, I'd probably put a battery maintainer, but a month should be fine. All depends on how often you drive it too. If you're driving it, like, let's say your commute to work is 4 miles, the car is going to hardly even get warmed up. It's not going to have much of a chance to charge the battery. You're going to get to work, you're going to park the car, it's going to sit, you're going to start it again, drive another 4 miles home, park it again. And if you keep doing that, then the battery's not going to have a chance to, fully get charged. So it all kind of depends. If you have a longer commute, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, and then you park it for a month, you'll be fine. Of course, unless the battery last time you checked didn't test that well, and let's say the battery's 5 or 6 years old, then maybe we'd have an issue. It being a 992, of course, you'd have a newer car. Now, if it's cold, because I know that you're in the UK, Gavin, that will certainly suck some energy from the battery as well. But it's winter there. As long as you go on fairly long drives, you'll be fine if you park the car for a month. Like I said, anything longer, 6 weeks or more, if you can, definitely put it on a battery tender. And maybe even before you park the car, just even check the battery. You could probably go to your local Porsche store and they can probably check the battery right then and there. It shouldn't take them long just to make sure your battery's okay. But let me go up here. Give me 1 second. What year is your car, Gavin? I'm actually curious. Oh yeah, you'll be fine. Looks like Gavin's got a 24 911. Should be totally fine. As long as you're going, again, like you're not doing short trips day to day, and the batteries getting a chance to charge. So should be good. That was a great question. No, that's actually fine. That's actually a great question, Joel, and I would say that's totally fine. If you're driving for, I've had people do that to actually break in their cars, is they just go on a nice long road trip, cars at 2,000, 2,500, maybe 3,000 RPMs, just cruising, and that's an easy way to get a lot of miles. But if you do that, perfect. I'd say that's a great idea, because Porsche, as actually part of that break-in period, they don't like a lot of starting and stopping. They want the car to get up to optimal temperature when you're driving the car. So that's perfect. If you're planning on doing that, do it. If you guys don't have any other things, I'm just making some notes here. Then I'm gonna end the live stream. I think that's probably about it, guys. So thanks again for all your support. Sorry, I don't know why that comment came up. I appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any other questions, I'll stay on here. Let's stay on here for like another minute or so if I see anything pop up. If not, we're going to end the live stream so you guys can enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Mike, I appreciate it. Gavin, thank you. I really appreciate you guys again for all your support. We're going to be making some more videos here for the main channel in the near future. So again, go enjoy the rest of your guys' Sunday evening, or for you, Gavin, I guess it'd be Monday morning. So thanks again, and we'll catch you guys in the next video and next live stream. Again, the goal, I'll probably set one up here in the next week or two. For next month, we'll be doing another live stream with a new topic. That's fine. All good. That's perfect. That's a great recommendation. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Again, thank you. And Planet Fabulous, please send me an email so I can get you your paint to sample box. Again, pcarwhisperer@gmail.com. And good on you for guessing Continental Orange. So thanks again, guys. Have a great rest of your evening.